Welcome to the Four-Way Split Podcast. Thanks for joining us today. We're going to start with some intros over here to my left.
Oh, my name?
Yeah, you want to start with your name?
My name is Lincoln.
Also
That's
known
my real
as...
name. Also known as MC Link.
Link.
No, I don't know. I have no stage
would you like
name.
to start over?
No, I have no
Well,
stage
two things
name.
we've discussed.
It's just
Not
Lincoln.
have dead air. And we've created both. Go.
Yeah.
I'm Craig, also known as Motown.
My name is Jared. I have several nicknames. I've been called B, Kramer, Big Earn, Bacon. I think that's it.
And just Beeler.
Just Beeler. Yeah.
You're in my phone as Beeler.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if I was going to put my last name out there, but
It's there now.
Not to be confused with the Subway, Jared. We want to make sure that you
right.
are
See,
not
now
the same
normally
person.
Jared's were like that would be how I would say it because I couldn't like say my own name for a long time, right? And then when I got to the point where I could say it, it was like the Subway guy.
You couldn't say it because of...
Well, I had a speech impediment.
Oh,
Thanks.
I thought,
That's why I couldn't say it.
I thought you meant like
We can
Friend
barely
here.
tell.
you're...
But I couldn't say it, and then
Okay.
when I could say it, now people, I would say, "Hi, my name is Jared." They'd say Jerry, and I go, "No, Jared," and they'd say Gerald, and I go, "No, Jared." So then I would always say like the Subway guy, and everybody knew it. And then
But
he started
now-
like
then
messing
he's
around with kids
then he
and
became
stuff.
a
So now it's the jewelry store.
Yeah, so now it's a jewelry store.
Oh, he
What
went to
is
Jared.
that? He went to Jared.
Yeah, like the jewelry store.
Yeah,
Right.
that's very
Good,
nice.
good.
That's a good one.
And you might notice a four-way split would typically, you would think, have four people. Our buddy Brewski is
Also known as Brewski.
also known as Brewski
Not to be confused.
to some people.
No, it's not.
Brewski. It's often confused with Brewski, but
Often.
it is
Right,
Brewski.
yes.
Yeah. Brewski is in quarantine. And he's healthy, but not able to make it today, so we decided to go ahead and just, it seemed to fit 2020, 2021. So we're moving on. And
Shovel, yeah.
Today's four-way is a three-way.
today, that's right. So we're going to talk about what is the four-way split and what it means to us and why we got started with this and, kind of where we want to go from here. So start with Link.
Well, I think it really kind of, regardless of, I think at some point, like a lot of people think about maybe doing something as far as like creating content, and it just never happens. But for us, we had like just a late night conversation one summer night, smoking cigars and drinking some fine spirits, and Drake had the forethought to record it, and it was like at some point later that we ever even found out that he recorded it and he played it back for us, and it just sounded, it was actually pretty hilarious. And so we just kind of sat on it for a while, and then I don't know, Craig was the first one of us to kind of mention like, why don't we do a podcast? And I just think most of us, it kind of, it rang a bell in our heads.
Mm-hmm.
Like, why shouldn't we do a podcast? Why shouldn't we just do what we always do amongst
Right.
ourselves and share it with other people?
Yeah.
It might be pretty cool.
Yeah.
And so that's
Someone might
kinda-
want to watch it.
Yeah, somebody might want to watch it. I laugh every time I listen to that. That will probably be something that we share on a four-way split PM with a parental advisory, which somewhere down the road, there's the AM, there's the everyday four-way split, and there's the four-way split late night. At some point, that's an idea
Right.
we may explore. But it's
Where
hilarious.
we let the expletives fly.
Where we let that,
Right.
and some creative bleeping on Drake's part.
And forgive me, we forgot to mention our fantastic producer and edit guy, Drake Moore, also known as Demo Sizzle.
He never said sizzle.
Many other names, but he does all the creative content for us behind the scenes. So that's Drake. What about you, B?
Yeah, like when we were talking, we were just sitting around, just talking about stupid shit and other stuff, and Drake recorded it. We thought it was funny, and Craig brought up having a podcast, and we'd always talked about doing it, but like, there's everybody's got a podcast, right? Like everybody's got one, and we just toured around it for so long. Cause it's like, why do people care what I got to say, or Lincoln's got to say, or Craig's got to say, or about certain things? And
Maybe they don't.
maybe they don't. I mean,
We'll find out.
time will tell on that one. Yeah, but
Yeah.
we just thought it'd be fun to get together. We're all we talked about names, and we're all in different kind of points in our lives, and we have different ideas of how things go. And like we talked about earlier, they're a little bit more conservative than I am. I'm a little more bleeding heart liberal, and so we're gonna try it, and we're gonna do some things, and hopefully we can keep people watching, and you're entertained, and we'll see where it goes from here. At some point, we're gonna get like T-shirts and merch,
we'll
all
go there.
kinds of cool stuff.
Right. Merch.
We can go there. I think a big part of like one of our underlying, like one of our operating premises is to kind of try to act like nobody's watching. And right now, it's not really hard to pretend like nobody's watching because nobody's watching.
Dude, we had like 800 views that we found out today.
But I think and there are so many podcasts, and there are a lot of cool podcasts doing cool things. And I'm not to say that we are never going to have any particular agenda about any particular subject matter, because I'm sure along the way we'll find things that are important that we can have sober discussions about. But really, I think one of the things that kind of defines us is that we don't really have an agenda. We are really just about just hanging out and having a good time, and doing what we do as friends and as husbands and fathers. If we didn't have a podcast, but like share it with the podcast world. And so if you want to tune in to something like way serious, then you probably shouldn't tune in here, because
we're not very good at that.
We're not very good
Never
at
good
that.
at that. But we are sometimes serious.
Yeah, we are
sometimes funny.
serious.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's in there.
We're seriously interested in certain things, and we seriously want to share those things with you.
Plus, we just want to be able to sit down and talk about it versus like text message chains that last forever, that are so long.
Yeah.
And I mean, some of us write really, really long text
I don't know
messages,
who that person is.
and like at some point, it's just like, whoa,
Right.
too many things to digest.
Right.
at
I'm
once.
driving.
Right.
This is illegal.
Right. And some of the other ideas that we've had for this podcast and moving forward is, we want to get out and meet some people. We're going to be doing some on-location podcasts. We know there are a lot of people out there who we don't know yet, who are doing some really cool things, side hobbies. Maybe it's even their job. But I think it would be fun to get out and meet some people, do those types of things on location. So that's something we have in the works as well. So
Yeah, we've got
Got a lot of things in the fire.
right. Got a lot of things in
But
fire. A lot of places we want to go.
Yeah, it's been 3 months now, and this is the first
Right.
podcast we've done. So we're gonna start.
yeah,
Right.
yeah,
And I
Big
guess
dreams.
well, that kind of segues into like the next part of that conversation, which is sharing a little bit about what some of those things might be or not, or
Well, we're always open for suggestions, but yeah, we got a couple things that I think that we want to do, and maybe incorporate later on, and maybe a little. I don't know if they're called bits or skit. Not really skits. We're not saying that live, but I mean, just certain things that we may do every week, and we have an opportunity to do different things. And
yeah. So one thing we'll be doing is we have some local businesses we'll be going to meet the people who own those businesses, talk about what they're doing, some cool things that they've got on the horizon, spend some time with them, and do the on live location podcast from there. So that's coming in the works. As Jared mentioned, we have some merchandise coming as well. We're excited about that. We also have the social media platform set up and ready to go on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and a YouTube channel. So we'll be mentioning those at the end of the podcast today. So they mentioned we're going to do some different segments, and one of the segments we're going to start with each podcast is just kind of recapping our week, best and worst part of your week.
Yep.
And who wants to go first on that?
I can. Mine's easy.
Okay.
Mine'll be short and sweet. I worked 78 hours this week, so
78.
78, yeah. So that was clearly the worst part of my week. My feet hurt, but I mean, there's not much to really say about that, right? Anytime you have to work that many hours, it's bad.
Yeah.
The best part of my week. Are we doing all worst, or are we going to try to go end on a high note?
That's it on the high note.
Okay, well, my best part of the week, probably last night. Liz and Luke went to the horse barn, and for about an hour, my daughter and I sat down and played Pictionary.
Right on.
That's probably the best part of my week.
Yeah.
She's a really good drawer, and a good guesser.
And a good guesser.
And, I mean, because I can't.
So you lost.
I didn't say I lost, Greg.
Okay.
I just said we played together.
Okay.
That was the important thing.
Okay.
Right? There's no winners or losers in Pictionary. We're
Okay.
all winners.
Okay.
Yeah, but that
It's
is
a good game, yeah. But
Yeah, that is a cool, super cool thing, and those things sneak up on you because if you were to like choose that moment and go, "Hey, let's sit down and do this," it may not work out, or your kid may not want to do it. It just
Right.
kind of happens upon you, and you realize it's there, and it becomes the best part of your week.
yeah, yeah.
How about you, Link?
Oh man, best part of my week. Oh gosh, did you share your worst part? Oh yeah, you worked all those hours.
Yeah.
I've been working 6 days a week for going on 2 years now. My wife decided to go back to school, and then she decided to get a master's degree. And so I decided I need to work more. And for whatever reason, that schedule just hasn't relented yet. So I probably share Beeler's worst part of the week is that I work probably 60, 70 hours a week. I will say that one of the worst parts about my week is something that happens all the time, and it's the guy who's on the road. It could be a guy, it could be a woman.
Well, let's share that you drive.
I drive. For,
Yeah.
I work in logistics, but I do a lot of driving, and there's always the person on the road who doesn't want to use their headlights, even though everybody else has headlights. And
You
it's
mean like a dark or like when it snows?
no, like at that, there's this time in the day where if your headlights are on automatic, they sometimes don't recognize that they should be on because it's either like early evening or early morning, and like everybody else has their headlights on, but you've got the guy who's like, "Hey man, the car doesn't think the lights need to be on, so I'm just gonna go with it. It doesn't matter about like
Right.
safety or anything. I'm just gonna leave them off because
Right.
I'm special." So I saw a lot of those guys this week who just don't have to obey traffic laws or have common
And that
courtesy
one-
for
and
others.
It's
And
interesting.
that was kind of like one of the worst parts of my week.
What
is
about the? I
when
don't
you're
know.
one of the world's best drivers?
Right. Well,
You're surrounded by
speaking of
idiots
just
constantly.
Idiot drivers is, first of all, when it is foggy outside, you do not see better with the brights on.
No, you don't.
You learn that
actually
like
see
first
less.
day stuff.
But I
Yes.
still test it.
Well, people
Yes.
test it all
Is
the
this
time.
gonna work? Is this?
Maybe this time it'll work.
It's
Right.
or I don't mean to jump on your piggyback on your worst day thing, but we're talking about bad drivers now. It got me going.
All right.
If there is a cop who has a car pulled over on the other side of the road, even if they're a median in front, 4-lane highways going both ways, you do not take your speed from 75 to 50.
No.
Right.
They're not going to jump it and come
Right.
after you.
Right. Yeah, dude.
Just
Right.
no need to
They
slow
are
down.
not,
This side
no.
of traffic flows.
Yeah, they're not saying, "Oh, he's going faster, so I'm going to
Right.
get him."
Right, yeah,
No,
yeah.
Here,
So-
let me send a telepathic message to the cop on that side of the highway.
And I don't drive near as much as you, but like my hour commute, it gets me thinking about that stuff too. And
Yeah.
man, that drives me
There's a lot of
nuts.
special people in the world.
Or people who wait the last minute in that turn lane to go over. I'm not saying I know anybody like that.
Right. Right.
You are that guy, aren't you?
What do I do?
You're going the turn lane right
Last
to the very
minute
end, and you try to
lane
get over the last
changer.
time.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Oh, I thought we had a discussion about that. I might be
Well,
making
I'm
something
going to
up.
bring it home with the best part of my week.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, good idea.
And I
Get
will
off
say this: I watched some local high school basketball on my porch while having a Brick House Natural with a nice Johnny Walker Red Scotch, and that was pretty good. I found that high school basketball with a good cigar and a decent whiskey is a pretty decent trifecta. So that may be something. It was a pretty good part of my
So
week.
you were streaming the game.
So I was streaming
Yeah.
the game.
You weren't sitting in the gym having a whiskey.
No, I wasn't sitting
Right.
in the gym
What
having
game
whiskey.
was it?
They frown on that, believe
game
it or
was it?
not. It was the Rushville game.
It was the Morristown game.
It was it was the Morristown game.
Yeah.
But yeah,
And who won that game?
I believe it was Morristown.
That's right.
Morristown won,
That's
yeah.
right. That's right.
So yeah, so that's probably one of the better parts of my week.
Well, I'm going to go to. I'm going to jump to the sports wagging
Yeah,
on,
your best to work.
I know, that's what I'm doing.
Oh, my bad.
Okay.
The worst
Sorry.
part of my week was the Oladipo trade. Now, I'm not saying that Oladipo didn't need to go.
Yeah.
I'm saying that it's a letdown from where Oladipo started
where
with
he
the
started.
Pacers. The excitement that it brought, being an Indiana Hoosier, having him on the court representing Indiana with the Pacers.
Yep.
All the great things he did. Then he got hurt. Then it was just downhill. And the final nail in the coffin with him being traded was just a ugh.
Well, pronounce the name again.
Oladipo?
My whole life I've been calling him Oladipo.
I don't know. I don't know what it is. I've always
Oh.
said Oladipo.
I'll vote you.
Yeah.
It's like a, I don't know, man. It's like a double-edged sword kind of thing because, like you say, all the excitement. Like there were years where I just swore the Pacers off. I really didn't. I go back to like the Reggie Miller days.
Rick Smits.
Rick Smits, yeah.
The
all
Rifleman, Chuck Parsons.
Like the Pacers had a dynasty. It's the Knicks and the Bulls and the Celtics. Like all these teams. I felt like that was like that time period was one of like the last great places for basketball to be. And then like from there you went into like Ron Artest, like fighting in the stands. And,
Malice at the
like,
Palace.
what are we trying to be? Like the Knicks now? Like the bad boys of basketball? You kind of wondered. And then, of course, coaching changes came after that. And I just thought, like, I literally just tuned out. So when we got George Hill back, our local boy, our Broader Bowl guy, I really started thinking, like, man, we're turning a corner here. We've got a hometown guy. He cares about, this, the place he's from and the team he's playing for. And then, we saw the coaching changes taking place, and then Oladipo, and it was like, man, right on, dude. Like, we are back. And then it was just like, Oladipo's like, hey, man.
Yeah, I had no
Can I
idea.
come
I
play
had
for you
no
guys?
idea he wanted
Can I-
out. Like, where was
He's
he?
like talking to like the other bench, man. He's
really
like,
wanted out?
hey, man, you guys got any spots open? I'm not, maybe I can.
All right, real quick. Who's your favorite
take a
all-time
sick
Pacer?
day.
All-time Pacers, not Reggie Miller. Reggie Miller is an easy one. Who's your favorite all-time Pacer? Anybody? Quick one. Take your off.
Man, I'm out. I don't
My
know.
favorite
I didn't
all-time
think about it.
pacer, I'm going to say, is probably
You've got. I mean, well, go along the list.
There's a
Let's
lot
keep
of
on
all-time
going.
I
Like
mean-
you got the Rifleman Chuck Parsons. You got Detlef Shrimp.
Yeah.
You got Rick Smits.
I'm going to say Rick.
Rick Smits.
I'm going to say Rick.
Have
Smith.
you seen that
Raymond
guy
Tisdale.
on
I used to have a
Minibag?
Raymond
Oh,
Tisdale
yeah.
poster back in the day.
And his nickname was
That I don't know.
the
Sorry.
Big Smooth.
The big.
The Big
No, the
Smooth,
Big
yeah.
Smooth is Sam Perkins. Sam Perkins is
No.
Big Smooth.
Okay, well,
I think. Because
we're gonna need to look that
I
up.
think Sam Perkins might be.
Okay,
kinda,
favorite-
It was always Chuck the Rifleman Parsons,
Yeah.
but then it kind of went. I kind of like Big Smooth. Sam Perkins when he played, he had because it reminded me of me because he had a shot and he never got his feet this high off the ground, and I related to that because I always wanted to shoot from deep and I couldn't get my feet more than this high off
That
the
was
ground.
back when guys passed. Though.
That's when I felt
Right,
He
yeah.
was relatable to me, I guess.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So that was the worst part. Losing Vic, and I knew it had to happen.
Yeah, he'll be happy.
Was
to
kind
see
of
him.
denying it needed to, but anyway, best part last night, my wife and my son went downtown Indianapolis and ate at a nice restaurant downtown and took a walk to the Circle.
What was the
And-
nice restaurant that you ate at, Craig?
We ate at the Ocean Air.
Oh,
The Ocean
wow.
Ocean Air.
Dude, I've been to Ocean Air once. It is fantastic.
It is good. We had never been there.
I mean, I don't know if it's
And-
like
and here's-
price tag good, but it's good.
Here's the positive thing from that is on the way down. This was kind of spur of the moment. So on the way down, we called St. Elmo. We called Harry and Izzy's. Booked. And
All
they had-
fine establishments.
Yes, exactly.
Any potential sponsors?
But
or
none of it.
anything.
I was gonna say, if you have room for a tripod, ring light, and a microphone,
Go say
we,
Elmo's.
for the price of a meal, we will do a podcast.
Yeah, so we try to go to those places. We don't go there often.
Right.
It's just kind of, hey, let's go to a nice place to eat. So they were booked. So we called Ocean Air and ended up going there for the first time. Very, very good.
It is fantastic.
Downtown was, it wasn't super busy, but it was nice. It was snowing. We walked down to the Circle, and it was a pleasant evening in our lovely city. So
Yeah.
that was encouraging after all the unrest
Right.
this past summer. So if you have not been downtown Indianapolis, get there.
Yeah, things
and,
are on.
and help those places out.
I would
So,
really like to go. I saw a place called Reds, I think it is, and they do like the old school, like straight leather, like the straight razor shaves
Yeah,
things.
like the old-fashioned barber
Yeah,
with the
I
men's
think that would be
grooming.
cool.
Yeah, I do too. I think
Yeah.
that is cool. I today just to segue or to piggyback from that, me and the wife went and checked out the new the refurbished Coke bottling property.
yeah, tell us about that.
And
I've heard about it.
it's like a campus. Like there's like the original factory was in different parts. There was like the old warehouse, the actual bottling part, and then like some maybe like a dock, a receiving area, and then there are walkways and lanes in between those buildings. And so it's like going to be it's a mixed use property. So I think ultimately there's like a food court kind of mall kind of area with like multiple like bars. Like I think Hard Truth Distillery has
From Brown County?
has kind of an
Yeah.
anchor spot down there.
Mhm.
There's some good food. We ate at like a South American. It's supposed to be South American street food, whatever that is. I had like this awesome sausage and steak, like hoagie sub thing that the wife ordered for me. I don't know what the name is, but it was good. So anyway, it's a pretty good scene. So you can walk around and see some things. And there's craft beer and spirits, and there's food, and
Is it all like
there will be
like is it strip mallish? Is it
no,
like mallish or is it more?
no. From what I saw, it's like some of it is going to be actual. There's business and residential space available, so some of it's
Right.
going to
Okay.
be converted into apartments, and some of it will be like commercial space for offices, and then there's like the food and like the dining kind of area, open air, and they call it the garage. Like there's a section of it where they have garage doors, like some of the original doors for I don't know. I'm guessing in their shipping or receiving or
Okay.
whatever departments where you can see that like in the spring or the fall they'll. Or maybe even in the mild parts of summer, they'll open those doors up and it will be
Yeah.
an open air kind of thing.
Like Nashville almost.
Yeah, it was really pretty cool. It's at the very end of Mass Avenue. Just go down Mass Avenue until you can't go anymore and look to the left, and there it will be.
Okay.
But it was pretty interesting, pretty cool.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Yeah.
I hear that they're doing things like I have not been there. My boss told me about this. Like at Sun King, the brewery at Sun King, they have like test kitchens. So essentially, you could pay like a monthly fee or whatever to get a little portion of the,
I saw
of the
that.
kitchen.
I wondered what that was.
And
they
any-
do. There's
right.
like one or two open kitchens. They're
And
like
anybody
commercial
who,
kitchens.
Anybody who wants to buy it and say, hey, I'm
For
really
that
thinking
amount of
about
time.
making a food truck. I'm thinking
Right.
about opening a
Come try
business.
my
I don't know
product.
if it's going to work.
Yeah.
If I was doing it, I would make my green apples and Gouda sandwiches. They're really good.
Interesting. Is that a Norwegian thing?
Dude, I don't know. I had it once, and it was good. And I've made a couple since then, and those were also good.
Do you
I'm
have
not going to
bacon
open up
bits
a
of
test
Southern
kitchen.
Norwegian.
Let's talk about music. We're all music fans. We have different tastes in music.
Yeah.
Some good.
Some good, some bad.
Yeah.
What are you listening to right now?
I think this week I really have. I've been listening to a playlist of a band that I like called Dawes. I don't know. I kind of one of the things we want to be able to do on the podcast is like one of the other dimensions that we want to be able to share with everybody is music. So like
Yeah.
the idea of like a four-way foreplay where any one of us picks like four songs. It could be like from the same artist or from different artists, but in four songs, it's like that's enough of a music selection to get an idea of like whether any particular artist that you've chosen.
Yeah, if you listen to
Sucks or not.
four songs
Right.
of somebody, you can kind of make that
Get a-
decision
yeah,
whether
you
they're
get
good or you're
whether-
going to like them or
right.
not like them.
Or not, and but it's not so long that you're like I don't want to. I'm not
Right.
locked in for 8 songs or 9 songs.
It takes you 4 songs.
Yeah.
No,
Well,
they-
not for an
they-
impression, but
But I'm an exceptional human being.
right.
Yes, you are.
So,
So right now it's Dawes.
I don't know if they heard that through my mumbling, but maybe it's better you didn't.
Right.
Makes you kind of look like an ass. But anyway.
So that's what I'm listening to. And Dawes, I've always kind of thought of them as the thinking man's rock band,
Thinking Man's
because
Rock
they are the guy. I think that I'm gonna blank on his name now. You would think if I'm a fanboy of this, band,
Right, yeah.
would know the
I love
name.
this band so much.
But
Who
it's
sings?
Taylor,
I couldn't
John
tell you.
Taylor, or Dan Taylor. Anyway, total wordsmith. His brother plays drums, and some other guy plays a bass. But they're also one of those bands where, like, you listen to their studio stuff, and it sounds good, but you listen to their live stuff, and it sounds even better. And so I want to, like, that's probably going to be my first four-way four-play share. We'll put a link or something on either our social media page or our YouTube channel or something.
Yep.
And one of the I'll give like a playlist where maybe like from Spotify the studio versions are the only thing that's available. But there's probably there's a couple live versions on YouTube that, believe it or not, are just outstanding. Like you
And
just
so you're gonna pick like your 4 best, like, because if you're really trying to bring in somebody, right? You
Well,
gotta
that's
say,
the
okay,
thing,
now these,
like-
cause if you tell somebody, hey,
It's-
this is my favorite band,
Right.
here's 4 songs, and someone goes,
Well,
Yeah, you can't go
sure,
deep
I'm a-
cuts. You gotta play
yeah,
like that.
you gotta just play the ones.
Well,
that,
but the
that
thing is,
the
like,
crowd likes.
if
right?
you they've got a lot of good stuff, so it just depends on where in their like musical journey you found them at. So I'll share 4 songs that are like I think touch on enough of their early and enough of their height, they're where I think they've reached their potential. Because when you look at like the front man, the lead singer, the more he got into, he's also the lead guitarist. The more his musicianship grew, and I mean, the more the band grew. It's like weird. You can just listen to certain albums, and you're like, if you're on Spotify, you're hitting like on certain songs, and their albums are on like just liking every single song because of where they were.
They had some radio hits, right?
Yeah, and they had some radio hits like I don't know, like of course I'm gonna blank because I have to remember right now. Some people,
Yeah, I remember hearing.
but yeah, so
some
they've
stuff
been
on
around.
radio.
But we all have different things. So Steel Drivers.
Mm-hmm.
I go from the Dawes to like Steel Drivers. I've got a easy 4-song set that I could share with the
Mm-hmm.
Steel Drivers. You guys, what are you listening to right now?
I kind of cross over between some, some rock and country. Right now, this is neither rock nor country, but listen to a lot of Harry Connick Jr.
Yeah.
Really, She.
from the She
Yeah,
album.
yeah,
That's a
She
great
album's
time.
The
good.
She album is
Happens to be also the period in basketball history that was.
Yeah, I
mentioned
really-
earlier.
She.
That was like in the '90s, man. That was.
Yeah,
like,
it was the 90s.
that was
She
like-
is that the Whisper Your Name album?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that is good, man.
Yeah, yeah,
Harry
Harry
Met
Connick.
Sally soundtrack.
Yeah, dude,
Harry
that's
Connick
good.
Jr.
Yeah,
is
yeah.
also awesome.
yeah. So I've been listening to a lot of that. You introduced me to Larry Fleet, and I've been listening to a lot of
Fleet's good.
Larry Fleet, and he does a lot of killer acoustic covers of some worship songs and just different country artists. So listen to a lot of him. Of course, Jason Isbell. Listen to him
Yeah.
almost on a weekly basis. So that's where I am right now. What about you?
I'm all about Morgan Wallen right now. Morgan Wallen just released a double song album, 30 song album thing.
Yeah.
Wow, that's like
So-
the Bush Light 30 pack.
Yeah, so I'm trying to get through all those. I mean, I've always liked Morgan Wallen. I think
Those original songs, are they covers or
they're
mix? Or,
originals. He does
yeah.
one Isbell cover that you hate.
Oh yeah,
I think
that's
it's good. Discussion for another time. Put a pin in it.
It's like a.
But I mean, Morgan Wallen's. He says his 2 biggest influences are Eric Church, which we all know is awesome, and Jason Isbell. See, so that's how he brings a guy like you in.
Yeah.
It's
Is
weird
that's one of
because
his
his main.
favorite
I'm not.
influences.
I'm not against Morgan. I don't. The cover me up out
It's a
song is.
You guys listen to Morgan Wallen's version of "Cover
You
Me
just
Up,"
can't
which
do
is a
it that
Jason
twangy.
Isbell song,
It just doesn't work.
and it's good.
Here's the deal. You
It's
have
good.
Eric Church is on the fringe side of mainstream country.
It's kind of mainstream now, right? Like, it
Right.
hasn't always
Eric
been,
Church
but-
is like me, but Jason Isbell is the sophisticated lyricist among outlaw.
He's the wordsmith.
He's the wordsmith of the outlaw country rockers, and I mean the guy can turn a phrase, and it's like but the musicianship is so good that you can tune out the lyrical like magnitude of what he's saying, the storytelling, and still it's a great song. But
Right.
if you want to go past the great music and listen to an awesome story, then that's
Well,
there too.
and maybe I just don't like listen to the music as much as you guys do,
Right.
right? Like cadence and stuff like that. Like I don't have any interest in that.
Right.
I want to listen to a song that I can somehow relate to. We have this argument all the time, like discussion all the time, right? Like I don't need my music in constant metaphors.
Right, I
Like,
get you.
I don't
That's
need
why-
to know
that's-
about the sailboat going down the river. That is
Two-
somehow a metaphor for
two-
he stubbed his toe or something. I just want my song to say I stubbed my toe, hurt like hell kind of thing.
Well, no, sometimes you need
So maybe that's why you're more towards like country music. Maybe I don't know. Maybe.
well, what's the sometimes you've got like you've got Pearl Jam, Soundgarden,
Is there-
duos. You got what is that? I'm going hungry. Like you've got like
Hunger Strike
You got
thing.
Hunger
Temple the
Strike.
Dog.
You got Temple the Dog. You got Hunger Strike, and then you've got then you've got Van Halen.
Are we supposed to call you Demo Drake, or are we supposed to just say like Drake? Because what I'm wondering is like later on when people watch this, like every time, are you gonna have a thing whenever they say Pearl Jam, like some kind of little sound comes up, like oh, or like some kind of something like that?
It's implied.
No, dude, we'll have like an Eddie Vedder graphic. We'll have like an
little Eddie Vedder graphic comes
like
up every time?
An Eddie Vedder cherub with like little flapping wings.
Right, every time, yeah.
Yeah, we'll come out from like over somebody's shoulder and be like,
Every time-
Jeremy Spoken.
Every time
Something like that.
the great band is spoken.
They're-
I find it interesting that Jared doesn't like Pearl Jam
It's not that I don't like him.
because
I
he can't understand Eddie.
I can't understand it. I swear. I've listened to Yellow Ledbetter 1,000 times, and I couldn't tell you 10 words in it. And I know that maybe I just don't have it. Maybe it brings back childhood memories of when I couldn't speak because of my speech impediment.
Maybe that's it.
And
that's cerebral,
maybe that's
dude.
what it is. But I listen to it. I don't know what he's saying. It just
Yeah.
sounds like sounds and grunts. And I'm not opposed to him.
Yeah,
I like
yeah,
Black. I mean,
yeah.
I sing like everybody else when Black comes on.
You like Sirens? Sirens is a great song.
Yeah, I
you
mean-
don't need to know the words, dude.
Yeah.
Right, true. I can.
You can just grunt
As
your
long
way
as you
through it.
know that sun in somebody else's sky, but
Yeah.
why not? That's all you need to know about Black. You
Okay.
can cruise the whole song as long as you belt that out.
So
That's all you need
favorite.
to know about it.
I mean, like, there's all albums that are supposed to be your favorite Pearl Jam album, and then there are albums that are your favorite Pearl Jam album.
Oh, I don't. Have
Albums
a
that,
Pearl Jam
like,
Whether we should be or not, we're fans of an energy drink, one a day, for most people,
some of
and we like the Bang energy drinks, right?
yeah, bangs are good.
And that's
Potential endorsement.
a topic of discussion for all of us every week is what new flavor did we try?
Right.
Jared, however,
I have a bit more caffeine
he
than
has
the regular folks.
he has an issue with not being able to get enough caffeine. So this week in outrageous claims is B's claim that energy drinks are good for his health.
I am claiming that zero sugar Monster energy drinks are good for me.
Right,
And,
and
the
this
reason
is because
I'm making this outrageous claim because I have about 3 a day with my Bang, right?
3
And-
monsters in addition to the Bang.
in addition to the Bang, right around about 800, 900 milligrams caffeine a day I'm working with. But I've been doing that now for almost like probably 7 years, right? Not every single
Tell me
day,
you're
but
like-
a lot.
Tell me you have them on, like, auto ship.
Well, but I've been to the doctor several times. I've currently lost 40 some odd pounds. I've been to the doctor, got clean bills of health on everything. So you tell me that they're not good for me.
So you can hit us up on social media to
Someone
let us
tell me they're
know.
not good for me if I've had that much of it over 6 years. I've gotten sick like 3 times, maybe 4 times. I don't get the
Not
flu.
from that, just you're saying in general.
I don't get the flu shot. I drink a bunch of monsters and I'm in perfect. Look at me, clean, perfect health.
Look at this.
I mean, I don't know. Hopefully
Tell
we're
us.
all from right here. So that's my outrageous claim. Tell me it's that bad for me. If that's what I essentially been living off of for 7 years, and I'm This.
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
Well,
it's tough to argue.
It is tough
it's
to
tough
argue.
to argue
Yeah.
because seeing is believing,
I checked my heart too, I think.
and
Yeah, I did.
and my own experience with bangs would suggest that they are good for you. Because I mean, I lived my whole younger life without swearing energy drinks off,
Right.
and finally got to a point where I just needed a little extra, like,
I mean, it's
Yeah.
got amino acids in it.
right, and it's got amino acids.
It's good for you.
And I'm like, I'm like the equivalent of the like, what's the word? Like, name like an old athlete, you know, like
Jim Thorpe.
Drew Brees. No, not Drew Brees. Who is the guy that threw for Denver?
John
Elway.
Elway.
I'm like the John Elway of like my vocation, man. It's like I should already find something else to do, but I'm still at it. And so I drink a bang, and it really actually does like.
Just takes you where you need
I
to be
feel
at,
better.
right?
But
Right.
yours is in the morning, right?
Yeah, I pretty much do. It's
Yeah.
like after a cup of coffee, I get my initial part of my morning down, and like phase 2, I'm out to face my day, and I throw down a bang.
I
Yeah.
drank a bang last night in bed as I was going to bed,
Yeah.
and I slept like a baby.
See, I'm telling
So you had a bang
you're
in the
like a
morning.
Martian.
No,
you had-
I had a yesterday. Okay, we'll take a Snapchat. Or
Snapchat.
not Snapchat. Snapshot. Is that what it is? Of my day yesterday.
You are
right?
now my grandpa.
With the Snapchats and the face
Snap.
messages and.
Yeah, faces.
I had a Monster Java in the morning because I was kind of tired, and that got me to work. And then around 9, I had a zero sugar Monster, and then at around noon, I had a bang, and then around 2, I had a Monster, and then I can't remember if I had a Monster on the way home or not. I don't think I did, but then I
So
was
that's-
tired. So then it was like
That's like 1,200 milligrams
Yeah.
of caffeine,
not
dude.
by then.
It's maybe
Like
more.
the
It's
bang
maybe
got
more
me
than
kind
that.
of over
It's
the
like
edge.
you've
There's
taken
140 in a Monster.
You have
So
taken
tally it up. I got 140 plus 140 plus 300 plus 140. And I don't know where that is right there, but that's where I was. But I didn't
We
have one
need
on
to
my way
Google
home.
how many milligrams of caffeine in a pot of coffee, and let's
It's like
see how
nothing.
many pots of coffee or something
It's like
dealers have.
60.
720.
60, 720. So that's not awful.
And this is,
That's by 2.
so a bang is $3.
A bang's 300. Oh, you're talking dollars? No, we're not talking about dollars, Craig.
Yeah,
dollars
that's,
are irrelevant.
that's the cost of doing
It's
business.
the cost. I'm working on this overtime to pay for these
Okay.
monsters.
Pay for
All
the
right.
banks.
But it was like 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and I didn't want to just come home after working 78 hours and go to bed. I wanted to kind of be around
Right,
for
like,
things, right? So I was like, well, how am I going to do that? I
Right,
got a
and you know
monster.
I can adjust my time. Like if I hold off like a couple hours, more like midday, and then
Right.
drink a bang, I got more juice.
Right.
But
When
can
I
you
get
sleep
home.
at night?
No, it's horrible.
Yeah. See,
Okay,
that's,
son,
And
yeah.
it was,
If
I started at like, I don't know, Liz got up at probably like 6 or so. I started drinking a bang. And then at 8 o'clock, we're going to go up and get caught up on the Unicorn, which is a great show on CBS. And I sat right there watching Unicorn and went to bed and slept it and drank that bang
Keep it up.
and then slept like a baby at 9:30 at night.
Well, you
Yeah.
know,
10 o'clock.
at some point, heroin addicts aren't taking heroin to get high. It's just to stay normal. So, I mean,
I mean,
that could be kind of where you're at. I want to move on to my next outrageous claim. I was going to make a Charles Barkley reference,
okay.
really, I like
but
that.
but
Sorry.
I have a parallel outrageous claim that goes to that kind of really aligns with your bangs are good for you thing.
Mhm.
I will tease the Charles Barkley thing though. Charles Barkley claims that because pro athletes pay so much money in taxes, they should be among the first people to get the
Vaccinated.
vaccinated. And I'm saying I got a lot of respect for Charles Barkley. He's willing to say things that a lot of us think, but nobody wants to say.
Right.
And in this particular instance, I think he's probably a little off the mark, but I understand the logic. So having said that, I'll say this. I think cigars are good for you.
Like one a day, right? Like
And I'm just going to tell
it's all
you
along the same things.
because one of the reasons why cigars are good for you is it's a thing that makes you stop and like
Smell the roses.
smell the roses. Disconnect from the stress of your day, whether it's impending and in front of you, or whether it's behind you. It's a thing that we do together. I can enjoy a cigar by myself, but it's not nearly as good as the cigar that I smoke with you guys. It's hands down, I enjoy myself much more when I'm having a good cigar, whether I have a spirit or not with it, when I'm with good company and I'm sharing that same activity and we're all appreciating it together.
Well,
And-
when you're smoking cigars, but Craig
Right.
is not smoking cigars. And
Right.
I'm not smoking cigars.
Well, not
Just when
always,
you're
but-
we're all sitting in the same-
Right, because your mother still doesn't know. Or, sure. But
They're not in hell, Marianne. Or
But I just
whatever.
want to, right, that's another
Man,
story.
where's Roasty?
Where's Risky? But I really do, and I think that, and there's even a cigar by Alec Bradley Cigars, and it's called, I think it's like, I'm gonna botch it, but it's like their Shop 40 or it's based on this underlying premise of some research that suggests that we're healthier when we take time to do things we enjoy
Healthier
and
when you're
share time
happy,
together.
almost.
And so they've actually, in November of last year, they introduced this Maduro cigar that I haven't been able to find yet, but I just started looking for it. But it just, that sparked that made me think today, one of the things that we had to consider was this outrageous claims segment. And I thought, you know what? Like, the idea that cigars are probably better for you than they're bad for you is probably something I want to introduce and talk about, because that's one of my things I'm into. I geek out on cigars,
Right.
a lot, and it's going to be some of the stuff I share here. But
And that's the important thing about the outrageous claims, right? We want to try to pick things that can't actually be proved. I don't want to be proved wrong.
right, you
know what I
could
mean? Like,
dispute it, but I don't have
I'm
to
sure
agree
there's
with you.
some smart doctor out there that can tell me why monsters
Right,
are,
right.
but I'm not listening to them because I'm not going to stop.
Right.
I mean,
don't know,
Tom
but
Brady's playing Drew Brees tonight. That's a big thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like they're all these greats, that are almost done.
But when the Colts lost, I kind of fell off the NFL map. Now I'm full on college basketball, and honestly looking forward to baseball season. The spring.
I personally am still in the playoff. I wanted the Colts to win, but now they're out. Then I shift to like a Drew Brees thing because I think it's important to root for people that you know. And Drew Brees and I know each other.
Great relationship.
What are
Has a
we going to
relationship.
do at quarterback with the Colts? Like, something just happened.
Rivers
right?
might get one more year, right?
I think Rivers will get another year.
Yeah, we'll see what happens.
But going back to you and your relationship with Drew Brees, I'm sure that your phone conversation with him today, prior to him heading to the stadium.
Our discussions have been very brief,
Okay.
but I have a Drew Brees story.
Okay.
There is a bar in West Lafayette. What is the one that it's like the piano bar. It's not Howl at the Moon, but it's in West Lafayette. What's it called?
Oh boy,
I'm not sure.
Does anybody
many
know?
moons ago. But
The only one I know of is Where Else.
Oh, well, it wasn't there.
Okay.
But it was right after we went down to my stepbrothers, Keegan and Kevin, and their wives. We went down to whatever that place was. It's supposed to be like an iconic place. I don't know anything about Purdue.
it's funny that
The Chocolate
there's-
Factory?
No, not the. It's like a Howl at the Moon. It's a piano bar.
Okay.
It's
Okay.
funny that you can't remember what the name of the piano bar you frequented.
I didn't frequent. I went there once.
Yeah.
We went and watched Notre Dame play Purdue. Breeze donated a bunch of money. He like donated millions of dollars to the school.
Mm-hmm.
So after the game, we're sitting at this Howl of the Moon type establishment.
Right.
God, why can't I think of it? And we're just sitting there drinking right in the front row. And Drew Brees and his wife walk in and literally come up to us at the table and say, "There's no place to sit. I'll buy the drinks all night if we can sit here with you guys." And what are you going to do? It's Drew Brees, right?
Right.
Right.
So, of course, he sits down, and we're sitting there hanging out with Drew Brees
Right
at a
on.
piano bar, having a good time. He's buying the drinks. At some point, I may have had too many drinks. because Drew Brees was
He was
buying,
buying them,
right?
right.
So we're sitting around and we're waiting. He orders some pitchers, and we're waiting. Everyone's sitting around, and we're waiting for the pitchers to fill our beers, and I'm out. And I just kind of look around. I go, there's one. Lincoln, who will be playing Drew Brees right now. I go, oh, there's one. I just grab Drew Brees' beer. Start watching him drinking it like it's nobody's business, and he's just sitting there going,
Huh.
what happened?
The beer he bought.
The beer he bought.
Commodore.
All right.
And he was the only
took
one.
my beer.
He was the only one that didn't have any left. I just took it upon myself. I mean, I was out.
Right.
There was some there.
Right.
And as a member of Pro Athlete Royalty, he was like totally cool with that.
Well, yeah, I'm sure it was. This was pre-COVID.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
There's
totally
pretty
fine.
infectious diseases out there, but I mean that right there was not. So that's my Drew Brees story. I think the best part of it is, like, the next day I'm telling my friend Ryan Funkhauser about it, and I'm like, dude, you would not believe it. We were at this bar,
Right.
and Drew Brees comes in, and it was the most thing ever. I drank with Drew Brees. Who can say that?
Dude,
He
that's
goes,
pretty cool.
yeah, I know. And I go, dude, you know, that's awesome. Like, dude, I didn't know it got out. Like, you know, it was before Twitter and those things. I was like,
Right.
that's so cool. That's so cool. You know, and I'm going through the details. He's going, dude, I know. And I'm like, how do you know this? And he goes, I was there.
I was there.
And I said, wait, what now? I said, no. I went with my stepbrothers and their wives. He's like, yes. And then I was also there. And then I came in, and then I saw you. And I was there also drinking with Drew Brees. And I was there. I was all part of that. I go,
Who
I'm
knew?
a damn.
Right.
Man,
So
that
now,
totally.
so now Ryan Funkhauser, he's drinking Drew Brees too. Drew Brees too.
And we'll have more as
We hope. Well, you know, you guys got to keep watching. We got to keep
Yeah,
those
we're
views
gonna-
up. We got to keep
Yeah,
those likes up, I guess.
Yeah, so if you'll like and share the page, find us on YouTube, find us on Twitter and Instagram and
Right.
Facebook.
Right.
Like the page.
Watch,
and,
like, and share. You
and
know,
share.
we'll be creating some content that isn't what we do on the main podcast.
Give
some
all
cool, interesting things.
the different things, because there's a lot of them.
Yeah, on Instagram it's 4_way_split. Twitter it's @4way split. Facebook just look up the 4way split podcast, and you can find us everywhere on social media. So
And Drake, you'll put those at the bottom too, like a little thing
Yeah.
that goes
Yeah,
across,
we'll
like
have-
right here.
Drake will do his magic. Demo will do his
Up
magic.
there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Drake's
so-
going to be like, wiggle, wiggle, word.
Yeah.
Got all
Yeah.
that stuff.
Next time we see you, Ruski will be back and better than ever.
Rooski's got to be here.
He's got to be here. So we'll see you. 4way split. Thanks for watching. See you next time.